Have you ever seen people when you're in your travels and you're just going around in your daily life who you consider to be inapproachable? Yeah, unapproachable. Some people that you just don't think that you can probably talk to. Good morning and welcome to the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I'm your host. I am Kurt. Welcome to those who are coming on YouTube, Rumble, and the podcast. Glad to have you aboard today. Today is Tuesday, the 10th of November, 2020. And as I say, I'm Kurt, and I wanted to talk today about a blog post that I've just written called Snob. It's a simple one-word title for the blog post in question, and I wrote this blog post for a reason that I think people need to understand, and it is that I am sometimes seen as that unapproachable, snobbish person. I know that it's true. I can tell the way people look at me and so forth because I remember looking at people like people look at me. And what I want to say about that is this. You look at a person like me and you think, that person is unapproachable, maybe. And it might not be because they're oh so attractive or anything like that. They might just seem like they're harboring judgment or whatever. There might be any number of things that you might come to the conclusion makes it so that that individual is unapproachable. He looks like he's harsh. He looks like he's really conservative, and I probably wouldn't get along well with him. Or she looks really pretty. You know, whatever it happens to be, there are any number of things that might cause a person to look at another person and think, I could never go up to that person and just strike up a conversation. Well, let me tell you the thing about that. I was, just the other day, I was sitting at my local tire store, standing outside the bay where my tires were being replaced because they had gotten so bad, a couple of them, that they really needed it, okay? And I'm sitting outside of this tire place, this place where the people are doing the works, you know, and I'm quite frankly, I'm in wonderment over the fact that they're able to get a couple of the lug nuts off without breaking studs in the process because apparently they were frozen in place. Yet they managed it. They did it. They were able. Okay, so that was great. I was really happy about that. And these guys, like I say, they're wonder workers as far as I'm concerned. I'm even going to give them a shout out. Looney's Tire Service here in the Little Rock area. They're a great place to go to do tire work, in my opinion, if you're looking for somebody to do that. Anyway, these guys are great guys. I've never had a problem with any of them. They all seem to have pretty good attitudes, even though, you know, some of them are a little younger and maybe not quite so experienced in the world. They're pretty good people, right? Anyway, so I'm sitting there and I see this guy and he's standing outside one of the bays and I'm thinking, well, it must be one of the workers who's on break because his clothes have grease spots on them and they're dirty and so forth, right? And look, no knock on mechanics, no knock on people who change tires and so forth. This is life for these guys. They have to get grubby. They have to get grimy. That's part of doing the job. And frankly, if you see people who look like that, it's because those people are probably doing the job that really needs to be done. So anyway, I'm standing outside of this place and I see this fella, and I don't know, I don't remember exactly how it happened, but we sort of strike up a conversation. I think he says something casually up at first. And this guy, like I say, he's grubby and greasy. Well, yeah, he's a mechanic, so no surprise there. Grease and dirt under the fingernails, yeah, that's pretty much a lifelong thing for a lot of these guys. It's very hard for them to get their hands clean after all of the work that they do. It just is. And again, you can't appreciate a person more than an auto mechanic or somebody who changes tires or, quite frankly, a janitor or a security guard or whatever. And I meet a lot of these guys. So I'm talking with this particular individual, and we strike up this conversation, and I won't say he's the most intelligent guy I've ever met, but he's far from the dumbest. I'll just tell you that. He's talking about his retirement and the things that he did to make his, you know, sacrifices that he made to make it his retirement, hopefully a better one. He's talking about politics and what he's holding up and standing right there with everything that I say. And sometimes, you know, maybe even give me a little insight here and there. And this is a very common thing for me. You know, I've known people in various walks of life. I had a friend who was a security guard one place. Most of these people are casual friends, but that's because I don't make friends well. It's not because other people are not good people, okay? Anyway, it was a security guard in one of the buildings I worked in. Great guy. Salt of the earth kind of guy. Happy most of the time. Good attitude. Really a great guy. The guy who worked maintenance in that same building, Yeah, he was rough around the edges, but overall, he was just a really good fella. Okay. And this is true for a lot of people that I deal with on a daily and ongoing basis, right? Lots of places that I've worked, the janitorial staff and another place that I worked. Great people. Good guy. Garbage men, for goodness sake, right? Again, one of the most needed jobs you're ever going to have is garbage men and people who maintain streets, right? These are important jobs. And the point of all of this is that I make all of these friendships, even if they're really loose sort of associations, and talk with all of these people. And I talk with them on the same level I would with anybody else. I don't care if they're a software developer, if they're a banker, if they're a lawyer, if they're a doctor. These are all people worthy of your time and your effort. And so the funny thing is, because I'm a very reserved person, and I'm a very tend to be a pretty private individual, and like I say, when people look at me, I've asked people before, what job do you think I do? Well, I'm a software developer by employment, though obviously right now I'm trying to break into doing various videos. But the point is, I'm a software developer. It's what I do, and not everybody, but a lot of people will answer, "What do you think I do?" with teacher. And that's because in a lot of people's minds, whether they think so or not, they look at teachers as those bespectacled people who are looking down their nose through their glasses on the end of their nose. Let me show you. It looks like this. Yes, I'm excuse me. I can't even do that for very long because it's hard on me to do it. But to be honest with you, I have no interest in looking at people like that anyway. My attitude is, yeah, there are a lot of people. I hate to say this, but there are a lot of people out there who are dumb people. Sometimes I'm one of them. I'll just let you know. That's how that works sometimes. But a lot of times it's other people who are quote dumb people, and that's just not very smart people, and that's just life. That being said, there are intelligent people, and a lot of times you will find them in places you don't expect to find them at all. Okay, and I've met many of them in many places. And from all over the world too. I have friends from India. I have friends from England. I have friends from all over the world. Australia, where I lived for a time. Hawaii, where I lived for a while. I have Korean friends, though I haven't talked with many of them in a very long time. I have American friends. I have friends from all over the place and in all walks of life. And I'm just here to tell you that most of them are salt of the earth people, and it's me that people have a hard time approaching, and I recognize that. And what makes that a little bit harder is a lot of the time I work very hard to be correct in the things that I talk about. Now, when I'm talking about general things, nice day, isn't it? How's the weather? What do you think of this sports team or that? Which is not something I really care about. I don't work that hard to be correct on it. But when it's things I care about, I'm just here to tell you that I spend my time working to be right in what I say. And that's why one of the things that I try to do a lot of the time is listen to other people before I say anything, because they may be bringing something to me that I don't know. Now, I'm going to be fair. A lot of the time, that's just not the case. People bring things to me. Yep, already considered that. That's already in my repertoire of things that I've looked at and considered, and I have an answer. Here's the answer. That's just life. That's how that works, okay? And so that's just something that you have to know. But the problem is, when I'm correct, when I say things that are correct, when I'm careful in how I phrase things, yet again, I tend to be looked at as somebody who's sort of snobbish in nature. And let me tell you, I may even be very animated. I may be very strongly opinionated about things that I talk about. But I want you to understand that what I do is what teachers do, because my parents were teachers. And so I was raised in somewhat a lecturer's demeanor, if you will. So I speak from that position. And so when you talk to me, call it BS or whatever it is that you happen to do, and I don't like to use that term because I don't like to use bad language, and I consider that to be so. But it's totally fine. Okay, so I'm getting close to the end of my time, and what I want to say is this. Look, you look at a person, you think that person's unapproachable, you think they may be a snob. That may be true. You may think that. But if you don't check, if you don't try to actually associate with those individuals, you're never going to know. You'll never find out. And you're going to find that some of those people are actually good, reasonable, nice people. Okay, as I've said, today is Tuesday, the 10th of November, 2020. Tomorrow will be Wednesday, the 11th of November, 2020. It's a short day for my son at school, but Now, I should be able to still get a video in tomorrow, a Daily Summation video in again tomorrow. Again, this is the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics, in case I happen to forget to say that. I don't think I did, but it's possible. And I'm glad to have you aboard if you're coming in from YouTube, Rumble, or listening on the podcast. Hopefully we will see you again tomorrow, and I hope you have a wonderful day. The speaker on this edition of the Daily Summation is Kurt Schubert. This video is recorded on Tuesday, November 10th of 2020. The Daily Summation is created for Kurt's Religion and Politics. Thanks for checking out this video. Remember that you can like it on YouTube and you can give it a rumble on Rumble if you want to do that. I have channels on both YouTube and Rumble. They are the Kurt's Religion and Politics channels. You can subscribe to either one of those if you want to do so. Remember, if you subscribe on YouTube, you probably want to click the notification bell in order to be notified of new content. If you want to see more from me, you can check me out on my blog. That's blogs.kpschubert.com, blogs.kpschubert.com. You can also see my Facebook page. That is Kurt's Religion and Politics on Facebook. You can check out my Twitter, Parler, and Minds.com accounts. My handle on all three of those is at kpschubert. That's at kpschubert. You can check out my podcast. The podcast is at podcasts.kpschubert.com. That's podcast.kpschubert.com. And finally, you can check me out on Patreon. And if you want to support me, that's probably one of the better places that you can do that. I am Kurt's Religion and Politics there. Thanks again for checking out this video, and hopefully we will see you again tomorrow.